Shalom. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ha-Rakah Kodash. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. And I want to acknowledge all of the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity. Okay, so just going to jump into a quick couple verses. Starting out into, let's actually go to chapter 2 here in Ecclesiasticus. And just quick background for Ecclesiasticus, which actually it's also the book of Sirach. So quick story. When I was a young man, right now I'm going to be 43. But before I was in this truth, I had a Bible, and it was a good Bible. I didn't realize how good it was until years later. My grandmother gave me a Bible, and the Bible happened to have the Apocrypha in it, before I knew what the Apocrypha was. And so one of my favorite, actually it was my favorite book, was Sirach. I always remembered that book from my studies. Probably when I was about 18, going on 19, when I first started reading. And something happened to that Bible. I don't even know what happened to it. Lost it, or somebody took it, or who knows. But years later, I got another Bible, and I remembered my favorite book was Sirach. And so I got the new Bible, and I'm looking for this book, Sirach, and I couldn't find it. And I was a little disappointed, but I wasn't diligent at the time, so I didn't. I just said, oh well, I'm gonna have to get another Bible. I didn't know what was going on, why I couldn't find the book of Sirach. But didn't realize what happened, until I forgive me, I have allergies that are acting up, and I've got this cough. But anyway, so I couldn't find I couldn't find the book Sirach in the new Bible that I got. And then not until I came into this truth did I realize what was going on. It was in the Apocrypha, and of course not all Bibles have the Apocrypha. So anyway, I'm glad to be reunited with the book of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus. So that's what tonight's sit down is going to be on. So the first verse I'm going to look at is 2 and 5. It says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity." All right, and this is dealing with the elect, the men of Yahweh. And notice how it says men. It doesn't say woman. It just says men. So who's tried in the fire? It's the men of Yahweh. Okay. And let's jump down to 14 in the middle of the screen. "Woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you?" So, this excuse me. This verse is dealing directly with the elect. And and actually, men who fall out of this truth. I'm sorry. And this is Ecclesiastes 2 and 14. If you lose patience in this truth, or you lose, you're not suffering for this truth, and you stop being diligent, woe unto you. Sirach says. which means destruction unto you. So it's important to be diligent and always reading and always studying and always learning. All right, I'm going to jump to 3 and go to verse 24. At the top of the screen it says, "For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment." Okay, and this goes for all those brothers out there who are going off reading other books, aside from the scriptures, or you went to Esau's education, and it's changed your opinion, it's changed your understanding, because you just need to stick with the scriptures. You don't need to be in every single book and every single philosophy trying to overcomplicate this thing. All right. So, a really quick precept. Yeah, and my allergies are worse than I thought they were, so bear with me. Really quick precept on that is going to be in Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 12. Towards the middle of the screen. It says 12 and 12, Ecclesiastes. "And further, by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh." All right. So there are many, many books out there that you can read, and if you're not careful, they can throw you off, because you might have some new knowledge, worldly knowledge, and not scriptural knowledge, and you can't get over that. It becomes a stumbling block. So just beware of that. You don't want to go read too many books that'll throw you off in this truth. All right. So now we're going to go back to Ecclesiasticus, and we'll go to 3 and 29. Verse 29 towards the bottom, it says, "The heart of the prudent will understand a parable, and an attentive ear is the desire of a wise man." All right, so the elect men and the men who are prudent and diligent in this truth, we're gonna hearken and understand the parables. All right. If you're not diligent, you're not gonna understand the parables. It's gonna be another stumbling block. Like Christians, they don't understand parables. It's a foolish thing, for a Christian when you hear them breaking down the Bible. They don't understand the parables, so they have no understanding. It becomes a stumbling block, So You know, 29 says, the heart of the prudent will understand a parable. And really that word heart should be mind, because in Hebrew it's called leb. All right? And actually, let me play the proper pronunciation here.
Strong's H 3820. Lave. Lave.
Okay, see, I said it wrong. Lave, but it's spelled L-E-B. That's what threw me off. So lave is the word mind, which means heart. Okay, but in the Hebrew text, in the Hebrew Bible, the word would have been L-E-B, lave. All right. So the mind of the prudent will understand a parable, and an attentive ear is the desire of a wise man. All right. So, that actually brings me another verse, a precept. So Ecclesiastes 5:1. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of Yahweh, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. All right, so this verse right here, dealing with when you approach the men of the Lord, when you approach the true church, which is the men of the Lord, be more willing to listen than to speak your opinion. All right, we brought it out earlier. Your opinions are vain. Even men who decide they want to be in this truth, who want to walk in this truth and who want to, toe the line out there in the streets. You don't just come on and join, a camp right away. And it's actually my understanding. I don't know if they're still putting a halt or an end to new members. I haven't heard the latest word for GMS, but you don't just you can't just toe the line and become part of camp without some diligence first, right? So if you're sincere and you may not be part of GMS right now, and you want to learn this truth, and maybe you're an elect, well, you can come and listen. Don't come and give your opinion. It says be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools. You don't consider that you do evil if you just walk up on the camp and giving us your own worldly knowledge, So that's one test for a man who is wants to be diligent or wants to be a part of a camp. Can't just show up and be part of the camp. No, you gotta prove yourself a little bit, and not even a little bit. Prove yourself. And excuse me, these allergies, man. I'm telling you. Ecclesiasticus. And the word Ecclesiastes means preacher. All right. So that's what that means. All right. I'm going to try to get through this Ecclesiasticus 4. Bear with me. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, these allergies are really kicking my butt. It says, Ecclesiastes 4:1, my son, defraud not the poor of his living, and make not the needy eyes to wait long. Make not an hungry soul sorrowful, neither provoke a man in his distress. Add not more trouble to a mind that is vexed, and defer not to give him that is in need. Pretty self-explanatory advice, from the preacher, okay, who was Solomon. Reject not the supplication of the afflicted, neither turn away thy face from a poor man. All right, and this is dealing with the word supplication. I said it wrong first. Supplication actually means it's like prayer, okay? So reject not the supplication of the afflicted. Neither turn away thy face from a poor man. Turn not away thine eye from the needy, and give him none occasion to curse thee. And this really is dealing with, the needy who are needy from Israel. All right, this is not dealing with your Edomite, Like, whenever I read this, it makes me think of those people who are, on the street corners begging for money, It's okay to just drive right past an Edomite, That's not your brethren, But, maybe consider helping out an Israelite. And really, it's hard because there's a confusion of face. So, the Spirit beareth witness. So anyway, Ecclesiasticus 4:6. For if he curse thee in the bitterness of his soul, his prayer shall be heard of him that made him. So there you go. If he gets mad enough to curse you, in bitterness, Yahweh is going to hear his prayer. 4:7. Get thyself the love of the congregation, and bow thy head to a great man. So, obedience in the congregation, and bow the head to, elder apostles. You ever salute them? Hey, bow down. The men are worthy. They've been in this truth a long time. Let it not grieve thee to bow down thine ear to the poor, and give him a friendly answer with meekness. Deliver him that suffereth wrong from the hand of the oppressor, and be not faint-hearted when thou sittest in judgment. Be as a father unto the fatherless, and instead of an husband unto their mother. So, that's pretty self-explanatory. You can act like a father to a child who has no father, instead of trying to go up in his mom. Be good to that kid. So shalt thou be as the Son of the Most High, and he shall love thee more than thy mother doth. That verse speaks volumes, and you can see that in this world. And that's the thing about the preacher's words. You can always test them to the world, and you can see the truth in these scriptures, in these proverbs, in this book of Ecclesiasticus and Ecclesiastes. All right, because to me they're more proverbs. Going to 11. Wisdom exalteth her children, and layeth hold of them that seek her. And her is wisdom. He that loveth her loveth life. He that loveth her loveth life. And they that seek her early shall be filled with joy. All right, so right now, us men in this truth, we're looking for this wisdom early, right? Because when those missiles come and all the plagues come to the earth, and then, when people get desperate and they want to start looking for wisdom, it's going to be too late. That's why it says, seek her early, and you'll be filled with joy. So be diligent now. Don't wait for all the plagues to start hitting. He that holdeth her fast shall inherit glory, and wheresoever she entereth, Yahweh will bless. They that serve her shall minister to the Holy One, and them that love her, Yahweh doth love. So the men of this truth are the ones who love this, wisdom. It's called Sophia. And Yahweh loves the one who seeks this wisdom. Whoso giveth her unto her shall judge the nations, and he that attendeth unto her shall dwell securely. So how do you judge the nations? That's what we're doing. We're going out into this great city called America, and we're righteously judging all the nations, all the heathen. All right. If a man commit himself unto her, he shall inherit her, and his generation shall hold her in possession. For at excuse me. For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways, and bring fear and dread upon him, and torment him with her discipline, until she may trust his soul, and try him by her laws. So wisdom ain't no joke, Sometimes you got to go through some shit to get wisdom, But then, that's when you got to, take heed and start, following the laws of wisdom, Then will she return the straight way unto him, and comfort him, and show him her secrets. All right. So, men in this truth, we're able to understand parables. We're able to, who does Yahweh give his secrets to? Let's get it really quick. I got a couple precepts. Let's go to Mark 4:11. And he said unto them, Unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of Yahweh, but unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables, that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted, and their sins should be forgiven them. All right, so he shows his mysteries unto his elect men, unto his chosen. All right. The other verse I want to bring out really quick, I think, is Amos 3:7. Here we go. Surely Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. All right, so who is going to understand this truth? Who is going to understand these parables? The answer is his servants, who are the prophets. All right. So just wanted to get clear on that. All right. Ecclesiasticus 4:19. But if he go wrong, she will forsake him and give him over to his own ruin. So if you just, forget about wisdom, wisdom will forget about you too. And you'll ruin yourself. Observe the opportunity and beware of evil, and be not ashamed when it concerneth thy soul. For there is a shame that bringeth sin. This is like, if you sleep with, if you're an adulteress or something, and you sleep with, another man's wife, that's a shame, that's a sin. And there is a shame which is glory and grace. So that shame is, when you're out in the street corners and people are putting you to shame, talking shit, throwing things at you, hurling cuss words at you, calling you all kinds of names or whatever. Hey, that shame is glory. So, there's two kinds of shame that in verse 21. Ecclesiasticus 4:22. Accept no person against thy soul, and let not the reverence of any man cause thee to fall. And refrain not to speak when there is occasion to do good. Excuse me. And hide not the wisdom in her beauty. For by speech wisdom shall be known, and learning by the word of the tongue. Right? There's a saying, you want to know how somebody's character, just let them talk. Listen to them talk. So there's verse 24 right there is testifying to that. 25 now. In no wise speak against the truth, but be abashed of the error of thine ignorance. And that word abashed means ashamed or embarrassed. So it says here, let me read it again. In no wise speak against the truth, but be embarrassed of the error of thine ignorance. Right? Yeah, it's ignorant to speak against the truth, you know. Or if you hear somebody else that's saying something that goes against these scriptures, you know, that's an embarrassment, or it's ashamed. You should be ashamed to speak against the truth, go against the grain of the truth. Verse 26, be not ashamed to confess thy sins, and force not the course of the river. Make not thyself an underling to a foolish man. And an underling is it's basically like a subordinate or inferior to someone who's at a higher title. You know, you never want to make yourself an underling to a foolish man, to a non-believer. You know what I mean? You want to show superiority to those foolish people who don't believe. Neither accept a person of the mighty. Strive for the truth unto death, and Yahweh shall fight for thee. Be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss. So this just means be diligent. It means gather this oil right now. All right? Don't be slack in this truth. You know? Don't be slow in performing your duty. That's what remiss means. Be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants. Let not thine hand be stretched out to receive, and shut